900 and the floors have completely dried. Usually it takes a period of between 48 to 72 hours for the FSC 900 to be completely dried and cured. At that point, the floor is totally hard. At the point of total hardness, then the floors can be stepped over without any damage to the SAV, whether you're putting on pointy shoes or you're putting on sharp objects. But this is not to say that you can deliberately try to harm the floor with nails and it won't get damaged. Any attempt to try to harm the floors or to prove the strength of the floor by scratching or peeling it off with a nail could result into damaging your floor. Think of a wooden floor. The same way you want to care for it, the same way you want to be sure that people don't deliberately damage the floors. That's the same way you should treat this. So don't go doing any strength test by using nails to damage or to scratch the floors. Okay, back to the training now. Now, at the point of applying your FSC 900, it's a clear look. It's transparent. It does not hide anything. It shows whatever is beneath the floor. So before you commence FSC 900 installation or pouring, you must make sure that there is no stain, there is no damage, there is no foreign particle, even flies or insects that become dead on the floor during the application of the FSC 900 will remain a permanent feature in the floor. So you must ensure that whatever you are doing, ensure that your floors do not have any stains, do not have any dirt, do not have any form of damage or insects dead over them before or during your installation of the FSC 900. After installing your FSC 900, there's no problem, anything can come on it. At that point, all you need to do is to just clean it up with a mop and water and you're good. But before the installation of the FSC 900, you must make sure that none of this happens. If you see on the other end of the screen or the other side of the screen, the vinyl installers or the people installing the SAV are still hard at work trying to prepare that area for her to come. So immediately after installing the SAV, you move on to applying your FSC 900. Like I said earlier on, it's a two-component material, component A and component B. You spread with the aid of a squeegee or with the aid of a paint roller. That's the installation of the SAV there going on. They're installing the SAV. They're almost rounding up. And she's back to coating it. They're done with installing the SAV now, so she's back to doing the final top coat on the surface. So installing the final top coat, she's evenly covering everywhere. You notice she started at the edges. If you look at the skirtings, you will see that the skirtings have been covered, what most of you refer to as the floorboards or the edges of the floor. They've been covered already with the FSC 900, and she's doing the remaining part, working away from the inner part of the floors to the exit point. You must make sure that the exit point is not covered. That's the last place you want to cover, otherwise you're going to get stranded on the job and have no way to leave. So ensure that you make very good effect or very good use of your space while you are applying. Make very good use of your space. It's also good that you work in pairs. It's not too good that you work alone when you're doing this part of the floor, because if you work alone, you won't be able to get the product that you have mixed, or if you need to mix more quantities, you can't begin to step out and step in, step out and step in of your work area like that. You want to make sure that whatever you are doing, you stay in the work area, then your assistant can go fetch additional chemicals. If what you're using is exhausted, you can go fetch additional chemicals, bring to you, you spread over the area, you continue the work process. This is to make sure that nobody goes out and brings in dirt onto your work area. Nobody goes out and steps on sand or whatever debris and bring it into your work area. The work area must be clean before, during, and after the installation. Even after installing, you must make sure that you close windows, close doors, so that no flies, insects, lizards, or whatever animals can come on the surface, because any animal that comes on the surface at the point of curing will be permanently glued to the surface, they won't be able to move, and it becomes a part of your 3D floor finish for life. And you know that's not what your client wants. If you do that, you might end up having to redo the entire process from beginning. So you must care for your floors before, during, and after installing your FSC 900 until the curing period is completed. When the curing period is completed, then you can walk over your floors, you can take a stroll over it, you can wear shoes or whatever over it, there's no problem. But before then, you need to treat the floors with care, you need to treat the installation process with care. So that's the entire installation process of the FSC 900, the practical session. And if you notice, you would see that it's not something that is too difficult or burdensome to do. Just ensure you stick to the principles and the guidelines I gave you. Avoid the things I told you to avoid, and you'll be very good. You will have no issues whatsoever mixing or doing your floor. You know your mix must be thorough, it must be vigorous, and it must be exact. Your mix ratio cannot afford to be irregular. Your mix ratio cannot afford to be irregular. Your mix ratio cannot afford to be on a mix where you'd have, instead of doing 10:5, you do 10:4 or you do 10:3. The problem with that is that your floors will never dry. In some areas, I see where after installing epoxy floors, the floors remain tacky or wet. I discussed this in the previous section of the course when we were doing the theory aspect. That problem is mostly or usually a result of irregular mix. Either the mix ratio is not precise and exact, or the components were not thoroughly mixed together. So some areas will have enough of component B, which is the hardener, and some areas will have too little of component B, which is the hardener. Where you have no sufficient hardener, that's the component B, your floors will not dry, your floors will not cure, they will remain tacky. And that means you'd have to strip off the entire floors and redo it again. There's no remedy to tacky floors. You can leave them for longer. Maybe if it's supposed to take a 48-hour curing period, try leaving it for 72 hours. It might cure, it might not cure. If it doesn't cure, then the only remedy to that will be to remove your entire floors completely and start the process from step 3. That's the installation of the vinyl if you are careful. If you're not careful, then you might need to start it all the way from step 1. So that's the end of the course. I'm sure that by now you are well equipped to do the 3D floor installation wherever you are. And leave a feedback in the comment section. Let me know how this course has helped you. Let me know what challenges you are facing. Let me know what you need me to teach you or talk to you about, and I'll be glad to oblige you. Thank you, and congratulations on finishing your 3D custom floor finishing. And I wish you all the best. I hope you begin to put your knowledge into practice. You can also take advantage of the other courses we have on offer. The one that talks to you how to build a business. The one that tells you how to use Facebook advertising to get customers to run after you. And every other course that you might think will aid you on your path to success. So my name is Francis David Matthew, and bye-bye for now. Thank you for enrolling in this course. Thank you for completing it, and I'll see you some other time, maybe in the next course.